I think then will be hakuna mtu atatuambia kitu, utakuwa unatembea unaambiwa tu YDMIK ni kando, Shangtao students are passing.
Welcome back to the Creative Collab. Thank you for joining us. If you've been here for a while, thank you again. If you're new, this is a platform that allows digital creatives to learn from each other. So leo tuko full house. I've never had so many people in one podcast. So I'll have them introduce themselves. Nanadi umepiga luku. Everyone is in black. Alafu there's some logos here. So we'll start from here. Would you introduce what it is you guys do and what Void utamalizie.
Okay.
Yeah, so just introduce yourself.
Yeah, so my name is Bill Munene. I'm a 3D artist. Doing mostly like general animation stuff. I'm also co-founder of Void Artelier. It's a studio we started with my colleague here, Lewis. And we want to tell stories and inspire people.
Okay.
Yeah. So I guess we'll talk more about Void as tukiendelea.
Yeah.
Hello, my name is Louis Joel. Other people call me Lewis. I'm a 3D artist, animator. I'm a co-founder of Void Artelier.
My name is Brighton Chege. I am from Wide Eye Studio, but we partnered up with Void. Mostly I'm a 3D journalist. The only thing I don't do is just character animation. Sipendi.
Okay, so my name is Jeremy Mwambu. I am a 2D artist and writer. So anything to do with drawing and writing, that's my forte. These other things for rigging, nini, tuachia so wengine wanaongea. So anything to do with 2D, caricature, character design, all those kind of things. If it comes to writing, scripts, articles, everything. That's my type of stuff. So in short, that's how I am. Also to the animation as well. Ya kuchora, not the rigs. But yes.
Traditional.
Yeah.
Traditional.
Awesome. So before we start the conversation, acha tuchangamshe akili kidogo. So
Okay.
we have trivia questions.
Wow.
Nani among you anaka kuzipata zote?
Hey, Lewis.
Sio mimi. Let's see.
So there are easy
60
questions.
Okay.
At least kila mtu apate moja.
We'll try.
Tutajaribu.
So just general questions, nothing to do with animation or the conversation. So how many hearts does an octopus have?
Hands.
Hearts. Roho. Octopus iko na roho ngapi?
I would
One.
say
Moja.
I'd say 3. 3 hearts.
Yeah, that's correct.
So if I kill it, it won't die.
I don't know.
Because of the temper.
Don't overthink.
Mefikiria sana.
The largest ocean in the world. That's so easy.
It's in the Pacific.
Yeah, it's the Pacific. The only fruit that has its seeds on the outside. It's so easy, but kuipata pia.
Naikulanga.
Well, I wouldn't know, but I'm assuming umeikula. It's common.
Is it corn?
No. That's
One is not a fruit.
Let's see.
Tumekula fruits.
Niwape
Dragon
hint.
fruit?
It's a not a dragon fruit, but that's a good answer. It's a small one.
Only
Red.
small and red.
Strawberry.
Strawberry.
Wow.
Wait. See the strawberries ziko nje?
Sindio?
How?
Those black
The yellow.
spots.
These are
Those are the seeds.
Yeah.
Tukakula tu mabegu na tujui. Okay.
How many bones does the human body have?
2 or 6.
Yeah, well, if you're talking about that, that is the guy to go.
This guy, he understands biology.
Yeah.
Like,
No, but you animators mnafaa kuwa mnajua bones. Ndio.
like it depends. Because even though animators, every rig is different depending.
But it's just standard. You see, it's the
human
That,
body.
like when I rig, I don't even follow the humans because I don't do toes. and then if you add salt to the injuries, you need to have bones in your face when you're doing character rigging. So it's a whole different department.
Okay,
but this guy is a
get
biology guy. Yeah.
Hi, the first person to land on the moon. The first person on the moon.
Louis Armstrong.
Yeah, Armstrong.
Yeah.
Is it
That's
Lewis?
correct. But it's
No.
Neil
Neil
Armstrong.
Armstrong, sorry.
Oh.
Yeah.
You know, Jared knows this thing. He teaches these things. So it's not about to know my inje too.
When we let him exam unakaa karibu na yeye.
Hakuna any other decision.
Awesome. So at least that tumechangamka, now we can have this
Yeah,
conversation. Funny thing, most of you are from Shangtao, sindo?
Yeah.
Niwe peke yako? You're from Shangtao. Umesema so it's only you.
I'm the isolated case.
Interesting. I think one thing I've come to notice ni most people really come from Shangtao when nimwangelesha. And I feel like Shangtao alumni are really out there and we're really trying our best. And with that said, I'd really love to give a shout out to Wallace because I think amebuild watu wengi sana.
Sindio?
What do you think?
I also think the same thing. Shangtao, even the guys from Zichomoka Ernest is also from, I think, from there.
Yeah, but it's a
And-
kitambo.
Yeah, Kitambo and all those guys are Kina Naftali. So I think the school is just, I think it just attracts people who are very interested, passionate about building the industry and all these things, something we're also interested in. So it's a good thing to have that name out there, that mtu akifikiria tu Shangtao or says you're an animator, like, oh, you're from Shangtao.
Yeah.
I'll give shout out to Wallace. That dude is a G, man. Yeah, you see, like just what he did. I think our Lord was the lastest, if that is a word. This serious group, sort of. And the first time I ever heard that name, I think I was scared because everybody would tell you, like, if you meet that guy, you know those threats. But I think Wallace, with what he did or he's doing with Shangtao, I think the industry owe him one or something like that. I keep on saying that I don't regret going to that place because the way he introduced me to learning stuff, matters animation. So good stuff, Shangtao.
Yeah, it's a good school. It's not bad. It's really good at animation. But I have to say the truth. But the one thing that lacks in Shangtao is hakuna exposure with other schools. Because like I remember that day, the first day I went to the International Animation Day, schools from all over the country, even Uganda came. So if you look at it from that perspective, like Shangtao does, we get the skills, we don't get the exposure. If in the other schools they get the exposure more than the skills, but sasa unaona with the exposure you can still gain skills because at the end of the day niwe perfect. So it's a good school. I don't regret also going there. I met most of my friends there, a lot of people. Even right now we still, even Kina Lewis, even Philip. So it's really nice. Yeah, but if it gets enough exposure, like in students where you go to certain events, good internships apart from Citizen, no offense to Citizen, I think then will be hakuna mtu atatuambia kitu, utakuwa unatembea unaambiwa tu YDMI keni kando, Shangtao students are passing. Yeah, that's all.
Who would you like to give a shout out to?
I
Mtu
will give a
alibuild.
shout out, I think, to Joy Mwangi, who's the other CEO, because I think, it was something that gave us a way to know more about, at least the people who did ADA, at least for me also, was know more about the industry, animation. Because for me, how I started, mine is basically, I drew since I was a child. And when I was, during COVID, I was trying to find ways to get animation going. So, I was like, hey, where do I get a chance? So I remember seeing this thing on social media. She was advertising, I think, the cohort. And I was like, finally, this is a chance. And I remember sending the email and I'm like, I just hope I get in. Yeah, so, I mean, from then on, there's people from states who are mentoring us. And, if someone didn't put themselves out there, to say, let me try and help kids that much, I don't think we'd be able to say, hey, we've done this and that, and from ADA and meet other people. So I think, that ability for her to just be able to help other people like that, gave people at least a way to even connect with other artists from SA and everything like that. So I think I'd give Joy Mwangi a shout out, yeah.
That's nice. So you'd say you guys mulipata exposure.
I mean, the learning process. I mean, because I think, first, I knew the small stuff about animation, like the drawing, the writing and everything. But when you go to learn more from people who've done it, then now you learn about more things like how to get a voice actor, what the role of a voice actor, what character design is, the production process, what is involved, those things. And, you didn't get it at a high cost like many other places. Like quality places like Huko Maju. Even people in many other countries, they suffer a lot in terms of trying to get. I'd find like I recently saw someone from India and New Zealand, people from countries that you never even hear animation from, but they are very excellent work. But you see now that some person will struggle on YouTube to get their skills up. And then there's a podcast I think I listened to called Draftsman by two artists called Stan Prokopenko and I forgot his other name. But he's a US-based artist. He also helps 2D artists with their skills. So they also talk about how there's a story about a guy who was in, I think, Kazakhstan, who used to wait for, they used to have electricity rationing and used to wait for the lessons from a teacher in States. So he used to go and record them on his phone, then play them back. So he used to send his work. And from then on, he ended up working in States. So you can see from someone who struggled that much there to finally go out. Then now what Joy did is be able to give people here in Kenya a chance. So I give her a shout out. Yeah.
Wow. That's inspiring.
Yeah.
Shangtao alumni wanasema they didn't get exposure when they finished school. So was it easy for you guys to find opportunities?
After the other program. Actually, we did other program with him.
But that was after Shangtao?
Yes.
And so I'm asking after Shangtao, right after Shangtao.
Right after Shangtao, no, I didn't find like directly these opportunities. I think nilienda kutafuta tu kazi on my own, which I got at Standard Group, an internship. And then from there, it just, I think this is a time during COVID, right? And then the internship ended after COVID. And then that's where the idea of Void now came up with Lewis. Yeah, so in terms of getting connection, it is quite hard at that time.
Okay. Lewis?
Well, I think for me it was a little bit different because I knew there was no proper animation studio in the country. So I literally decided that I'm not going to do internship. I'm going to go online and find courses. So I tried things like Skillshare, Udemy. I tried doing those 11-second because I knew I wanted to become a serious animator. I wanted to become an animator, and I knew if I go to Royal Media, Citizen, they will make me become a graphic designer, and I had that skill, so I didn't want that. So I think my exposure, I went looking for it elsewhere, whereby I watched a lot of tutorials online, did a lot of challenges with Bill. I think even saying that from Shangtao there was no exposure, it's true. But again, I knew that I wasn't going to get it from school. So I went outside to look for it, and even going out there, I knew that there was something that was happening somewhere. I don't know the guys that made which movie is that? There's this short that Warner Bros collaborated with a studio in the country, and they were doing some short courses. So I went there trying to find a position or chance to enroll in their classes. I didn't, but I found an animation school. They didn't teach me anything though, but I think my idea was to go outside there and just look for what I can find. Yeah, so I think.
So when you went to the animation school, what did you do exactly?
Well, I figured out that the skill level that I had was so much. There's nothing I could learn anymore in there. Now they wanted me to become a teacher. And at that point, I thought that I was not ready to become a teacher. So I went back to my room, and I just locked the door, and I did a lot of YouTube. I had to learn to do the bouncing ball again. I had to find a guy. I think I'll give him a shout out, David Alex, because he went to Animation Mentor. So I'd call and ask, so what do I do here? That I'm trying to do this bouncing ball, and I'm not getting it right. I'm trying to do this walk cycle, and it's just turning out spooky. They taught me how to. I had to go back to the fundamentals, whereby you plan your shot, you do all of that stuff, and I think just building from the proper foundation. I think that was it for me. Yeah.
Okay, nice. For me, it was a bit different. I think all of us have almost the same story. Also, the way I saw it, I talked to my upper classmates, like the guys who had finished. So I was like, yo, kunaenda aje after upper, what are we going to do? Because it's still lost. I was like very far from finishing, but I needed to know the game because I had met people from Shangtao, but they were not doing animation or anything, even doing to graphic design. So my head was like, what's happening huku nje? So I was like, okay, I need to find a way. So kuongea na some of the few people tulikuwa now, they were like, oh, you get to Citizen, either kwe camera boy. And I was like, at the end of the day, yes, I did camera work. I know how to use a camera, but at the end of the day, I didn't spend a whole year learning that. I spent a whole year learning animation. So in that process, my shout out goes to Josfat and Beatrice. I forgot to give them a shout out. So in that process, they told me like, oh, there's motion graphics, 3D. Use that. If you're not good in Maya, unaweza tumia Cinema 4D, Houdini, just explore, angalia. So by the time I was finishing, I was looking, I was like, no, I'm not going to do Citizen. I will apply, but I'm not going to do Citizen. So in that whole scenario, I got an internship somewhere else. It was at Crotent. I was like, that's better. It was actually next to Citizen. Weird. It was just a name for the Citizen. So I was like, it's better than going to Citizen. At least this I get to deal with clients. I'm not just behind an empty room where you just come and clock in, clock out, and then after 6 months you're done. So it gave me more exposures where I visited clients, talked to clients, because we were now designing. I was not doing animation completely, but I was doing something that was more interactive with the clients, because at the end of the day we wanted to form Wide Eye Studio with Philip. We were still forming it, so we needed the exposure of talking to clients. So I think I went a different route also, and they said let me look for my own thing, see how it works out. It backfire, but nsikwe nimekaa hapo nikiregret, I could have spent my time doing something else.
How about you?
I think for me, after ADA, I was really focused on just now making a film or movie for myself. But I slowly realized how difficult that could be. So for me, I had various skills, so I could juggle a lot of things. So sometimes I'd caricature, sometimes I'd do design, sometimes I would do comic book covers for people. So I was still there, because for me, I think it was 2D. Most of the people I met, by the way, when we went to ADA, was 3D people. Very few. The 2D people were in SA.
Yeah.
So there's no collab. So for me, I decided I juggle a lot of things to get my opportunities. Then I think at some point now, because I wrote to ADA, asked them, I want to make a movie, but I don't have the whole squad and everything. So they told me do a draft and everything. So this one now we came to this point. Now we came to the point when we were talking like in Bill. We came to the point of just saying, you know what? At this point, let's just merge our skills, grow from there. So from there, we went on. I think the first time we had a good shot at something was at the Imarisha Ubunifu project. That's the first time at least we won something. People knew about us out there and everything. But for me, that's how I juggle my opportunities, because I originally studied biological sciences. So I decided, okay, fine, let me just merge the skills, then see what I can do from there. So I'm kind of flexible. So for me, everything is one man. I have also been trying to look for now talents, because, very, very, very few people actually draw. Very few. I mean, people do draw, but to find very, very good talent is very rare. You'll find like 2-3 people at max, and, being able to now put them on a, either contractual or permanent basis, not that easy. So for me, that was my job. I've been going to schools, trying to see what they can do and everything. So for me, that's how I juggle my opportunities. Yeah.
Interesting. One thing I've come to realize is there wasn't that information shared on how to maneuver around the industry.
Yeah.
So like mlitoka tu shule and you're like, okay, so what next?
Yeah. The only
Thrown
person
into the
we
wild.
knew ilikuwa too fat boy. We were like, we know when to follow fat boy's career. Which because he put like a nice foundation, but sasa he already had the opportunity, but sasa naona huku kwingine in terms even of government structure. That's why we have a 3K. Inatusaidia na hizo government structures how we're supposed to. Because even in terms of taxes, we didn't know what to do because they're like, oh, Zuri 3K organized all this. I don't walitupatia. Was it last year? A seminar on taxes. Yeah. Like to end that, we sat down, explained what we need to do. So 3K has really set a nice foundation for most guys wale tumepotea because sisi tukianza I didn't know there was a 3K. Hadi build introduce ako like, oh Breton, kuna international animation day kuja. I was like, uko carried like drag like everyone I could. And then like the 3K message could structure most of these opportunities. It's trying very much to at least guide the guys all wanatoka chuo because like hakuna information. Then studios zile ziko, no, let's add salt to the injury. Most of them are 2D. That's how you see like now you have like 100 3D artists, but unaenda wapi, you're going to which studios, and the studios that actually do 3D are like maybe 1 or 2, and they don't do it full time, they do it part time. So but a contract, they're going to hire you part time. That's not the problem. Now you have to juggle like a lot of stuff.
Yeah, because most 3D studios I know ni just small, a group of people wenye wanangoja maybe wapate client and then they work on that, and then after that it's
you dissolve
on your own.
And here to njia, there's no other way. That's the only way, because just to bring on that topic, because unapata even for clients it's hard to convince Kenyan market, oh you need 3D, like kwani nahitaji, why you charging me like $1 million? I'm like it's a lot of work. It's not easy. Then trying to convince or educate the public, it's another thing that is out there. Yeah, mostly when it comes to prices, before we came up with the standard price, we got to make a sec. Took time.
I wish we had a school that instead of just kutufundisha the technical skills, kukuwe na other skills like financial literacy, historia pricing. You get to understand that, how to maneuver the industries or talk to clients, project management. Like umefundishwa tu the skill, and then what?
Yeah,
like
then
skill itakusaidia ikiwa peke yake.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, you need to learn the business of animation. So
that's true. I think that's a thing, and as a creative, because what we want to do is just create and create and create. We don't care about pay in as much as we need this pay. We're talking about animation. The gear is, what I'm talking about. Like it's just expensive. So I think for me, with that, I knew, because I got a lot of injury, like figuratively, whereby you go to a client and then you don't know what to quote. And that's where you needed to start finding out that in spite of me being an artist, I need to understand the business aspect of this.
Yeah.
And so like I started looking for, me and Bill, I think we found a guy who was teaching this nicely. I think everyone knows Chris Doe, the future. Yeah. So like I'd listen to this guy like crazy from us. Like I'm working, I'd listen to his podcast, right? He'd recommend books that, as a creative, you just need to understand a little bit, you are not supposed to be an undertaker. And I think for me that has just carried the day, because I didn't understand the business aspect of animation. And I think I'm still figuring it out, but I haven't understand it. And that is coming from a place of my environment, where I'm located. People don't really understand what animation is.
It's true. Yeah, true. It's true.
People don't understand what animation is, because they still think that it's just you clicking some button and then we have renders.
Animate button.
Yeah, mostly when it comes to clients, it's another different thing. You find a client wants like somebody to do a backflip run, it's like, oh, can it be done by Kesho? And then you're like, what? You're like, Kesho, how is that possible? You find like a customer when you approach, I can begin and have a poetry. I'm like, oh, that's nice. That looks like a nice project to fanya. I can explain. I can do all that. That can only take me like 2 weeks to fanya kitu, as long as you can have voiceover. We don't even need a character. We can play. We can just come up with a nice thing. Comes out, what's your budget? Thou. I was like, bro, add illustrations, say thou. I was like, just the education of it, no issue. Because ADPS ndo started to come up with the price, and it was a bit different, because silikuwa nafanya breakdown. animate ni pesa ngapi, ni pesa ngapi, ni pesa, like we do like a client breakdown, then client akuza character ni nini. So and then we had to like come up with like, even like now we had to sculpt characters, no shindo character, even though rendering like we even had a whole chart like 12 pages just explaining. Then like, oh, hii kitu ishikanishi. Then somebody else akatuambia, oh, instead of doing that, just do it per second. And I was like, what do you mean per second? Like client akikulizia details mpe. So we're like, oh, come up with a price particular per second from beginning to end. But the only thing now is that finding the voiceover peke yake because that varies. So nakuja naambia per second you're charging 5,000. So depending vile clip palitaishia before credits are to count. But it's 2 clip itaishia, that's what we're charging. So with that we're like, that makes work easier. So client akikuza naambia niko na charge rate, niko na that 500 per second, 4,000 per second, and 5,000 per second, hadi 8,000 per second, depending on quality. And now you don't get into details. So clients akiulizia naambia can get into details, but now I'm going to charge you for that. Because at the end of the day mtu ataenda ufanyie kazi yote, then I hate na your knowledge and aende sasa kwa kina bill, also bill na charge how much. So that became like a really issue. So we are like, oh, we just do per second. Adi kina bill wakikona almost the same thing. We also charge per second. And to cap it became easier. Ukianza sasa na kwamba tuko na package 5k per second. Kuza na kwamba there's a difference. But sasa if you want me to get into details, we have to have a one-on-one conversation. Afu nijue nini unataka because ina depend on quality. Sasa sisi vile sasa tuko tunaweka na Philip, we do it quality. So tuko like, okay, we know we can only have amount of characters in quality. So kuna ile low poly, high poly na HD. What do you want? And then how many characters are within that package? So we do like 2 characters peke yake. Anything more there's extra fees. So unapo sa complications. Sa a client like interested, so hapo ndo sasa tunaingia into details. Lakini kama yuko, it becomes another story. And that's how we did it on our end.
Is the pricing structure the same for you?
Yeah. For me, mostly I go as per the complexity of the animation, because there's variables of time as well as the duration it's going to take for the client to do it. Plus also in various departments what they want. So, you charge per second as usual. Then you see the various departments, because they'll have to go through that process if you're dealing with a client. They have to start from the script. If they have theirs, then we'll slash that off. Storyboard. Do they have theirs or not? Slash that off. Do they have their own character designers, voiceovers, sound guys? They don't have, I'll have to bring my own. Then I'll add it to the list. So I go per department, per the second, and the complexity. So if we check that off with the client, and as most creative projects are, you find clients who do not know what they want. If it's good, when it's something like, the easiest clients are the ones who, like, let's say it's a simple explainer video, because it's self-explanatory. But if you find someone like a music artist, you can go up and down. I don't like that color. That character needs to change. I don't look good here. I need to be in the video. No, it needs to do this. It needs to have this. Like there's one I got who wanted an anime video done for him. So this guy sends me samples. So I'm like, do you want this one? No. I just want like that one, but with a few colors. So I'm like,
what is colors?
So for me, I usually give an interim period of us discussing the project and finalizing what to accomplish. Then you go to the departments, the duration, the complexity. So if the client is not clean on those, then there's no point of me starting. So that's how I handle it. Yeah.
Okay, so that's how you handle it as Void or
no,
as
that's
individual?
me now as a 2D artist.
Also, I think the same with the rest of us.
Yeah,
jepata client tunamaliza project na kwa sikupende hii color, niko nataka hii color, and you umerenda kitu for a whole week. Kufa na joto kwa nyumba. So yeah, if the client is not clear for the usisonge your step, that's another thing really important that we learn, that you need approval per step, Likwe easier, because utaruka hii step useme client anabambika na what I've made. Unakuja na kwamba don't want that. And then remember you hired some guys no umeshawalipo wameenda. So rehiring them you need doing it so tukakua pocket. So we learn like every stage hadi ikuwe tu stage yoyote ikuwe storyboard approve. Because the storyboard atarudisha kwa animators. Unacheki? Because imagine umechapa storyboard ako approve storyboard, then Bill and Lewis wafanye animation then sema staki hiyo storyboard, that means you have to go back again from scratch. Afadhali approve akikuwa nini issue ambuli approve hii iko sawa. If you're going to make us go nyuma tena, that's extra cost. That's extra because I have to pay these two guys at the end of the day. Watafanyia kazi Brad kama ni mabest yangu na Breton niko na nyumba ya kulipa. So yeah, really important thing when doing clients is approval. Make sure every step or every major step is approved so it makes work easy. And at least asisema huku muambia Wakenya usema hivyo huku niambia, so it becomes really tricky. Yeah. So for me napenda tu approval. Me approve this stage sawa. So I can move forward. Actually ichukue time, but you approved so that if anything goes wrong, no, it's the client's fault, not ours. We did our part. We are good.
I think what Brighton is trying to say is from where we stand, we have to help the client understand what they want. Sometimes they have this big idea, we've had many people come asking for a budget. We have a script and we're trying to do animation. So like, do you want a 2D or 3D? What do you want? Because explained well by Jeremy. Sometimes the client doesn't know what they want.
True.
And so I think that is where we need to start. I normally take that way back in the end, where we need to talk about monies and stuff, because that is an elephant in the room. Nobody likes talking about it, but we need to talk about it. Right? So what do you want? What is the project all about? Do you need a 2D or 3D? And then if, as a professional that I am, I'll be able to bring you, to paint the picture. This is what you need. This is the amount of this is the duration of the time, and I think this is the estimate quotation that will the project will cost. I think if you can bring that up front, then I think maybe it's easy, and I've seen it work for us. Yeah,
I think that's the actual way to go, because before you onboard a client, you first have to have a discovery phase where you get to understand what the project is. Plus, we can't really blame clients for not knowing what they want. That's why they come to us.
To be fair,
So they'll tell us what they want, and then we try to understand what exactly it is they're looking for. Alafu, once we understand the project, then we bring in the other technicalities like timelines, anything else that they need to know about, and the pricing as well. So I wanted to know, is it something that you guys had to figure out on your own? But you mentioned that you've been listening to Chris Do. I also did. There's a time after school, like nilikuwa na transnight just listening to his podcast, and they were so interesting. There's also kulikuwa na hii fulani walikuwa nayo ya I think ilikuwa Young Gunners. It was kind of like a competition, which was really interesting. So I learned a lot from Chris Do pia. Also in terms of finances. So I wanted to know, is this something that you guys had to learn on your own, and how is it mlilearn through challenges ama mlilearn aje ku come up na the process on how to work with clients?
It's the same. Just as Lewis has said, even me, I've been watching Chris Do for the longest time, and his channel has a lot of gems. Yeah, it's literally a resource for any creative to get in there and listen to what the guys are saying, all this the role plays and all these things, and then work that back to now here locally and see how that works. But of course, now before that, you had to learn speaking with people, and once you get to the point of speaking with someone, then now you probably get to understand that. So yeah.
Another thing is, for you to also be able to talk to clients, you have to lazima ujitoe kwa hiyo kukuni yako. Creatives tunakuanga tumejificha nyuma ya desktop, laptop. So having to make that money, you have to lazima ujitoe kwa comfort zone.
No one likes the business side of it. Well, even me, I don't like the business aspect of the animation industry. It's a bit tricky, but you had to, because the only other way I was advised is we find somebody who does with business and bring them in. And then they look for the jobs and we do the, but also looking for that person, it's struggle pia kupata mtu ambaye kupata job unarusha, because people like where is the industry? Where is it? I can't see atupati contract imeko pahali we are doing this. Most people are outsource that or afanya 2D most of it, so it's a bit tricky on that.
You see, when you're starting out, you have to wear multiple hats.
Yeah.
And literally, I think that is what happened for us. Whereby I remember, rather my first client or our first client, just barely graduated from Chantal, and there was a guy who, it was a major project. This was a major project, and this client wanted to resource us, me and a friend, whereby building, the project. You wanted to come up with a it was a massive, whereby we didn't have machines to render what he wanted, so he was going to buy the machine, and so we were given time to go think and come up with an estimate, and we were talking about millions, and we were like, guys, this is
made it.
And what I'm saying that to say this, that I think when you're starting out, you have to wear many hats.
That's true.
And I think even meeting Chris Do and other people now, it's not that somebody recommended me or like some Chris Do just came in my screen. I was looking. How do you price? How do you do that, right? How do you go find clients? And I think that is how we stumble on Chris Do. And I think from the word go, I mean, it's just Chris Do, and with his guest, you want to follow his guest. And I think that is how you learn, because then you create a chain of, now it's not only Chris Do, but Chris Do brought somebody who taught you something that you think that, oh, I want to follow this guy. The same with animation. You see, it was Wallace, but again, you figure out that Wallace will only take me this far. Then I need to go find Alessandro Comprata. I don't have much money to go to an animation mentor, or I have to go find somebody who will give me, who will push me towards that direction of becoming a master that I want to become. Yeah, so I think starting out, you have to stumble on stuff before you really even settle on somebody who will help you on the finances. Despite that being not weird, but rather introverts, we don't want to go knocking the doors. At some point, you just have to. There's no other way. And I think that is what we learned.
You have to send that DM.
I think generally, we had this conversation, I think yesterday, where I was saying how the type of business animation, or rather the context that the business of animation has in Kenya, is that it's a very novel concept. If now, even if the president said, we will budget something for animation, every parent will be like, what is this guy doing? Because they don't understand how this thing can actually happen. But you see, that means now the public has to be aware of the value of what animation can bring, because there are many skillful people, but they never ever get a chance to be able to see. Because like, let's say for now, we had an event where every school, or at least every animator under A3K, at least people who are around that during International Animators Day, anyone just bring 30 seconds of what you can do and we'll post it. If everyone was now to do that, now people would see this is what Kenyans have. Even put it somewhere in a billboard somewhere, just say, hey, you can see this on Uko Koinange or whatever, and see it's being shown. People are posting about 500 or 300. Everyone does a 30-second video, sent to A3K, they post it for you. And I think that's something at least A3K should take up, is people should send in their stuff, then have a platform where people can say, this is so-and-so from Kenya. So when they even go out there and share their stuff, it'd be like Disney can see what Kenya has, or whoever can see what Kenya has. That's the thing. So going further into it, going to the business of it all, is first, there are many factors, at least, that many people will look at. There's number one, education. Number two, the talent. Not just of producing, the whole pipeline. Like I was asking myself, I think I was talking to my friends last week, I think my Form 4 classmates. They're asking me, so you do animation, and so how does it all work? So they asked me, I was like, talent is a hard thing. Because now tell me where you'll find voice actors. Not just people who use their voice, but people who can create voices for you.
That's difficult.
That's difficult in Kenya. So those small factors, I feel that if now people understood, were given the chance, or even at least the government was given a chance to at least understand, this is what it comprises of. These people can do various roles, and this is how it can be generated. This is what the talent can change. then now people will start to see, oh, this is the value. Because now if you tell them the animator, either you're an influencer or you're just someone who does funny cartoons. That's it. You know? So I think awareness and the novelty of animation is what now creates a barrier for it to actually be transacted.
On that note, I can add something else, which amesema nikakumbuka, is that it's not just, you see, the problem is where animation can be applied. Like, even ukiangalia movies and series industry in Kenya, nothing. Like if you look at even Nigeria, the Ogas have more visual effects companies in them than Kenya, because but even in terms of visual effects, but anything that requires visual effects requires animation. So, but even apart from the animation industry, which is trying to grow, the movie and series side of Kenya has nothing. India has better visual effects than us, and it's seen, and it's like because Kenya, we're just stuck into 3 categories: comedy and drama. There's nothing else you'll find in Kenya in terms of content. Apart from that time we did Nairobi Half-Life, which was really good. Remember it? Yeah. So, but apart from that, like, what else is there? It's only so even though to say okay, atutafanya animation like the Disney ones, and say let's enter into the movie industry. There's no platform at all. So, but if somebody says I want to make like a Marvel movie, there's nothing. You can't do it because also because like most of this thing, because even I saw like kids from Nigeria actually doing it really well with just basically their phones. We can do it. But at the same time, there's no that platform which it had to welcome to. Oh, you guys did this. This is nice. Let me welcome to you guys. Because ukiangalia the Nigerians, even the small fire, that's still a visual effect shot. That creates an opportunity in the industry. You get? That's an opportunity. So that at least on some, we can start with that. Then it grows. But now in Kenya, try to do that. Cartoons. Like they always say. But yeah, so the problem is animation is growing, but we are now trying to, because we finished school, we found that the industry was not there. Now we are building it to the 3K, pole. Maybe in the next 10 years time it will be there.